So hello and welcome to another RiderCamTV video, and today we've got the Suzuki GSX S1000GX. Now what a mouthful that is, but look at that bike! Does it not look incredible? Now thanks to Damrels and the place that sells dreams, they've allowed us to take this one out. This one's got somewhere in the range of about 150 horsepower. And it's pitched against the likes of the BMW 1000 XR. Now that XR has got, I think, much more horsepower. I think it's got about 180, something like that, something ridiculous. And you probably get more toys on there, but this is about £5 cheaper. So not only does it look good, but you can have racks on the back, so you could go touring. Nice, small length, it's nice and short. But doesn't it look smart? I mean, look at this. Look at these lights. I mean, that's just pure evilness, isn't it? So we're going to get on it without further ado, and we're going to go and have a ride. So, first impressions about, there's no keyless entry here, or keyless ride. The key is way down in here. And I kind of like having a key, because it means that when you know a bike is going, you know it's running because the keys are in it, which is awesome. Excellent wing mirrors by the looks of it. We'll see what they're like when we're on the road. So let's start it. There we go. Let's start it up. Get a nice Suzuki symbol saying that it's due a service in 200 odd miles. But this is a demonstrator. It's got a plethora of buttons. Some buttons there. Looks like it's got cruise control as well. Awesomeness. Guards for your hands, keep them cool. Hear that? Ooh, and digital. So let's go. Let's see what this is like, shall we? I mean, very first impressions are that it's tight. It wants to go. It does. I can tell this is going to be a little bit of fun. Now the switch gear, I'm wearing these big Rika gloves. Really nice because it's freezing today. And the indicator is quite difficult to find, but then that is only getting used to the bike. It sounds so smooth. I mean, it's obviously a 4-cylinder, and you can hear the amount of power. It just wants to go. Holds the line nicely. Right, let's see what it's like up to 70, shall we? And obviously I would have been able to get to 70 a little bit quicker if this car wasn't in the way. So we'll come on to the A30. This is fitted with a quick shifter. And it's smooth, buttery smooth. It's a nice place to be. I think I would like that screen a little bit higher for touring, because I'm getting, a total face of wind. 100% wind in my face. So I would want a bigger touring screen. But in terms of seating position, it feels like I'm on a GSA or something like that. And that is quite a nice high position to be sat in. I can see all around me. The mirrors are really good. But once we get off this dual carriageway, because dual carriageways and motorways, they're a must be on to get somewhere nice, aren't they? Quick shifter's really smooth. Wow. Down into third. Tiny bit of brake, take the edge off. Into second with the quick shifter. And it rocks around that corner. That's really quite nice. Just wants to go, this bike. Right, let's go. This is a nice 60 limit road here, so let's see what we can do to hustle on it, shall we? So, seating position. Everything feels where it should be. My body's at 90 degrees, my knees are 90 degrees. All the pegs, controls are all in just the right place where I'd expect them to be. and it's highly flickable. And I've just spent quite a long time on the GB 350S from Honda, and then to jump on this, I mean, it's worlds apart, but the 4-cylinder and just the smoothness of the way that the engine rolls on the power. So Mark's behind on a different bike, and I'm just going to ease off, and there's quite a lot of engine braking there, you know. It's not like a lot of inline-fours where you're riding along and you haven't got very much engine braking, but to be able to twist around these corners, I mean, that is just wow. Very, very smart. So arms are just the right width apart. I don't feel that I'm leaning forward or got any weight on my palms whatsoever. The throttle on the throttle hand it's quite precise, but it's not as precise as some bikes. You know, when you get on the throttle, it's instant, and then there's like this period of time when you're on and off, and it feels very jerky. This seems very smooth, although it's very responsive. The screen up ahead, really good. I love the fact that it's really bright, actually. The fonts are really good, the colours are really defined, and it's got all the information that I need. It's got the speed in big letters, the gear that I'm in, the rev counter is there, shows you red lines at like nearly 12,000 revs. And it's got loads of other things like traction control and all that other stuff that you can go into if you were looking at this bike. But let's talk about how it rides. Oh my God. Why is it that all these bikes are just so good? Now, the only thing for me is I'm getting wind upon wind in my face. So hopefully the commentary is coming across on the video okay, because it's an extreme amount of wind that I'm getting. But slow speed, look at that. Slow speed maneuvering, really precise, really easy to maintain a steady line. And when you're turning, sometimes these bikes at slow speed, they feel like you're all over the road. This one's very, very precise, actually. The weighting of the bike seems to be just right. And no matter what you throw at it, it just seems to suck it up and say, come on, give me a little bit more. It's a very, very comfortable seat. Very comfortable seat indeed. It's quite thin as well, which is quite nice, which means my knees are wrapped around the tank, which gives me the ability to grab the tank rather than feeling that the tank is too big, and to just chuck it around the corners. I mean, wow. The power that it's got is just insane. So I'm just going to come down and I'm just going to drop it down into third gear and drop it down to 30. And then, well, let's get down to 30 and then I'm going to go. Wow. Now that was in third gear. Wow. Now, would you really need that amount of power? I don't know, but coming from a bike that, you know, my RT, both my RTs, they've got sufficient power for everything, but wow, that really hits a spot in your brain that says, come on, I want to keep going. That was just immense. I fear that I would have to work really hard at keeping the speedo at the correct speed when you go into a different speed limit. Much, much more than I do on the bikes that I've got, just purely because of the immense power. I mean, this is fifth gear and we're doing 50 miles an hour, and if I crank it open within seconds, I'm doing nearly 60. Drop it down a cog, spin it up, you know, and you've got a super uber, as they would say, the youngsters say, uber responsive bike indeed. You really have. quick shifter's sublime, so third and second down into the 20, and it's like buttery smooth. Now let's see what it's like keeping it at 20, because these 20-mile-an-hour limits, they're very divisive. I think they're great for pedestrians. They're great to stop serious accidents, but my God, they're horrible when you're riding a bike. To maintain 20 is so difficult, and especially since a lot of the car drivers just don't seem to care about the speed limits, or the fact that we're on motorbikes and ride right up your chuff is really annoying. But this isn't jerky. I'm in second gear. It seems to be handling it really well at just over 2,000 revs. It's not wanting to push me and pull me. You know, I'm not having a rough ride. It's really quite smooth. Now, I had a Suzuki when I first did my direct access all those years ago, and it was a GS 500. And I loved that bike. And I've never really looked at having a a Suzuki since, really. I've always kind of thought, are they made as well as I think they are, or I'm not sure, but certainly the styling of them is just on point. It really looks so evil. But I quite happily have a Suzuki. You know, I think Suzukis are really quite nice bikes. They've got a good following, got a good record. And hear that burble, it's just sublime. A sound behind you. But we're going to come to the end of a 20 minute. It'll be interesting to see what the quick shifter is on the way up, you know, when you mean business. Now, obviously, it'll only be between 20 to 60. But, right, quick check behind. And we're in the national speed limits. Now, I would say, at my really appalling counting, that was probably about 3 or 4 seconds, and I'm up to 60, or just under 60, with the quick shifter, which I've got to say, did dip the bike ever so slightly in between changing gear, but it wasn't like some bikes that got quick shifters on that are quite severe when you're being pushed around. It was really smooth. Yeah, up and down on this quick shifter is no issue at all. In fact, it's a pleasure to use. You know, we've ridden quite a few bikes and reviewed quite a few bikes over the years, but there's very few bikes that I think, God, I'd like to have this for a few days and just see what it's like on all these roads and take it around, see what it's like with luggage and stuff. But this one, it's actually such a nice, pleasant place to be. Really comfortable, powerful, and my gosh, it looks good. I am now I'm going to have to stand back and look at all the letters, because this is, it's on the other side, isn't it? This is the,
come round.
This is the Suzuki GSX 1000S GX.
That's a gobful.
That is such a mouthful, isn't it? But this is a sublime bike. I mean, just look at it. Just the angles of it, the way it looks. Now, if you squinted, do this behind the camera.
I am.
Go like that.
I am.
Does it look like an XR?
It looks very much like an XR.
Now, this is Suzuki's version, I guess, of the BMW 1000 XR, isn't it? XR's got about 180 brake horsepower, something like that.
I don't know.
This one's got 150.
Wow.
And it's about £5 cheaper.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's
let's stop the video there. Let's go and buy one.
Well, it's made for the touring market. And it's made to compete with that XR, isn't it? So it's got all the refinements that the XR will have. It's got a quick shifter. It's just got so much power. It's amazing. It's got cruise control. It's got all these bits and bobs, a lovely screen. But how does it ride?
Tell me.
I think quite possibly, because I like my boxer engines. I like the RTs that I've got. I like the GSAs that I've had. And I've never really looked at different manufacturers. I've always thought of Suzuki as not really being that good in build quality and stuff. I don't know why, because all the Suzukis, like the V-Stroms and stuff, they're incredible bikes. But I think this has made me change my mind about just having that one focus of BMW as the manufacturer that I should buy bikes from. We all get caught in a trap, don't we? We
Yeah,
get
definitely.
very comfortable, and we're fortunate that we can get out and ride these bikes. I found not only was it comfortable, it was flickable. I didn't ache. My back didn't feel like it was being pulled out. My arms were at just enough forward and back and width to be really comfortable. And I can see myself touring on something like this for a long time. If you were going touring, I could see myself on one of these touring. The only thing about it would be that I would have to do something about the screen, because from about here all the way up, it was just solid air in your face. It was like being on a naked bike. There just really wasn't any benefit, I don't see, to that. So I would need a touring screen just to take that off, because I like riding with my visor open a lot, not with the helmet open, but with the visor open. And I had to shut it down because it's so cold today, and you just get everything in. Whereas on the RT, even in this weather, like 4, 5, 6 degrees, I'd be out with the visor open. But what a machine. The wheels look really small on it. I don't know why in my head I've got...
17s and 19s.
Yeah, they're like tiny, but they're no real difference to the RTs and the GSAs and all that sort of stuff. But where you sit is really nice. So when I'm sat on the bike, the seating position is just right for everything. It feels like I'm on a GSA.
Handy that, isn't it?
Yeah, handy, yeah. But it feels like I'm on a GSA type thing, you know, that sort of seating position. I didn't have to fumble about for any of the controls with my feet.
So what BMW did, and people who make bikes similar to this, they looked at the big adventure bikes, and they looked at people who might want to go from a sport bike, a road bike, to an adventure bike, and this is in the middle, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
the grey area in the middle.
Yeah.
And the XR is a phenomenal
It is.
bike. I mean, it's a license loser for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But it's comfortable. It's all day riding. I mean, I've had people on tours with them.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm looking at this going, well, it's just an XR that's got Suzuki written on it. That's how good it looks.
Yeah.
Because it's an awesome looking bike.
It does. I mean, have a look at the front, Mark. I mean, that
Coming
looks
around the front.
evil. If I turn the lights on,
It looks really nice. And those gold shock absorbers, they look really good.
you know, when you're right, the brakes are really good. The speed is really good. What I noticed was on the throttle on some bikes, they're so responsive that they almost make the ride unbearable, because you're like this, you just can't. This is really responsive, that's the word.
Any
but-
old word will do, mate.
Yeah, but you haven't got to work at making it smooth. The bike seems to do it all for you. I just really enjoyed riding it. Now, the brakes are really good. It does
It doesn't
dive
move.
quite a bit.
It what?
Dives quite a bit when you come to a quite a quick stop. But that's just getting used to the way that the bike behaves. You know, from a telelever on ours, it's different.
When I went from my GSA 1200 to the 850, then it took me a long time to work out the dive, and it's because of the telelever on the BMW. It takes
Yeah.
all that away from you, but it's easily worked out. I mean, it just takes a bit of practice.
Yeah. Now this has got loads of switches on the handlebars, loads of them. So you've got your emergency, you know, your cut off and your start, your hazards, cruise control. And then on this side, you've got all these buttons to then go in and out of all this stuff on the screen that
Look at
you
that
can
screen.
change. It's a really lovely screen, I've got to say. And you can set and go up and down for your cruise control on there, which I think is quite good, actually. And initially, the indicator felt like I had to try and find it because it was almost hidden away. But after a few miles, I forgot that, and it was really easy to find them.
And unlike Honda, they've got the horn below the indicator switch.
Yeah. And,
Come on, Honda.
And with that there, the BMW's got the cruise control on the front, so you've got a flicker switch, so you're almost moving your hand off. Whereas that, you're always in control because it's just up and down. I think that's really quite a nice little feature. I like the fact that it comes with these, and this is very much like tracer type thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, tracers have got this. I didn't really notice that it did very much, but I'm sure if it was really cold and rainy, I'd probably notice that on my hands. The mirrors, got to say, just perfect, just in the right place. They're really, really good. See loads
In
of
the
stuff.
right place to look behind you.
Oh yes,
And they're big as well, aren't they?
they are. And then you've got a key, and I'm since I've had Barney, I'm quite a fan of having a key rather than the button, because you know that the bike, you've got the key if the bike's running. Although it's quite a way down to get to the key, but you know, that's one of those things, isn't it? But the screen, got everything you need, where you need it, when you need it. And it even comes with a USB charging slot.
Come round.
Come round. But this USB charging slot there as well, which is really good, because with the cigarette lighter and all of that
Just
sort
do me
of
a
stuff,
favour and turn the bars. Oh, okay. It does miss them. I had a horrible feeling there that these would catch the USB cable.
But how many people have got USBs over DIN sockets and all that rubbish now? And the fact that they've thought about that and put that there, because that's where you're going to have your stuff, isn't it?
Well, I suppose DIN sockets now for some people, they're essential for the heated equipment and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, they might be, but
Well, they might be.
yeah, I really like it. The only thing that I noticed was that these pegs are really quite out a lot further than I expect. So when we had to reverse, when we were on the way here, somebody in a Volvo decided that it was easier to make two motorbikes and a car reverse round a blind corner when he had space to reverse like 20 yards behind him. So as I'm going back, it was catching on my legs.
Ah,
And I've not noticed that on many bikes before, but I suppose you haven't got your feet on the floor very much when you're riding, have you?
not necessarily.
But the wind protection,
They don't look any wider though.
no. The wind protection, I would need something for the wind protection there because I had it full in the face.
Just put your hands on the handlebar. So if I come down to sort of, you can see your shoulders and your head is really well exposed there. And if we come to the side
Yeah.
and look at the mirror, so I would say that this, even though there's a little bit of a bubble on the screen here, it's not quite deflecting it. It's actually catching you around the top. Sorry, around the top of your head somewhere about there.
And it's got this bike has got quick shifter up and down, and it's smooth. When I was hoofing it from 20 to 60 and going up the box, there was ever so slight dip as it was changing. The bike was doing it, but it wasn't like some bikes that it feels like it's doing that and then launching you again. It was really, really smooth, both up and down. It was really good, and it's got places to put your panniers.
Floating luggage.
Yeah, your floating luggage again, because you got that there, but more than enough room to
It's
put
almost
luggage.
Triumph green, that isn't it? The colour.
Yeah, I'm not sure I like the green that much. What a sublime bike to ride. And it's got Brembo brakes and a massive chain and all that good stuff. But do you want to hear it? See what it sounds like?
Love to hear it, mate.
Now I've noticed that it only seems to want to start when you're in neutral.
It's a good thing, isn't it?
Well, it isn't when you stall it at a junction.
Oh, did you do that
No,
today?
no.
That might be on another video.
Hear that? It just wants to go. And it just wants to go straight away. As soon as you come away, it just goes, I want to go, I want to go, I want to go. Just an awesome, awesome bit of kit. I think it's really good. So thanks to Damrels for letting us take it out.
What tyres has it got on it? Dunlops?
Black ones.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, black ones. Oh, they are Dunlops. We like Dunlop.
We
don't
like
Yeah, we
Dunlops.
like Dunlop. Dunlop make brilliant tyres. And they didn't disappoint on this bike, actually. Chucking it about. Mark was riding behind me. What did you think about me going around the corners? It just felt natural.
Nice to watch.
Yeah, it just felt natural. You know, on some bikes when you get on them and you think, I got to really work hard at, you know, if you've gone from this size tyre to 21 or something, you've got to work hard at realising what it's going to do. Nothing on this. It just went, and it felt like I'd been riding it for years. Awesome, awesome bike.
There we go.
Yeah.
Happy.
Really,
Pillion
really
seat?
good.
Pillion seat, okay. Was the seat comfortable? Did it
The
cup
seat
you
was
enough?
really comfortable, and what I really liked about it is that the seat is quite narrow, so it allowed you to hug the tank rather than having that
Quite
almost
wide.
like that cramp there, which is being, you know, your legs being pushed apart when you're on some bikes. This was really comfortable. That was nice, you know, that it didn't feel like it was pushing into my backside. I'm very selfish on a bike. I don't care what the pillion seat feels like because I ain't having a
I only
pillion on
asked
my
'cause I knew
bike.
that was going to be your answer.
But it is quite thick. It's quite padded. if you're going to take a pillion, I think they'd probably be okay. And there's big grab handles there as well as this rack that you could put Givy and God knows what else on top, and whatever box you want on there. But
we haven't seen the boxes, but you know, I'd imagine there'd be something like standard boxes, you know, shad type thing.
So if you're going to go and look for an XR type bike, have a look at this one as well as the XR. Yeah, it hasn't got as much power. You might not have as many gadgets on there. It's £5 cheaper and it rides so well. So we'll see you in the next video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Perhaps you'd want to come on one of these on a tour on RiderCamTV tours.
I would.
I would too. So we might see you. Anyway, bye.